Hey everyone, Greg Mazza, Homecare Breakthrough Solutions. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to talk about how do you eliminate chaos in your business and get better productivity out of your team. All right, so I know running a home care business is crazy. I mean, I think I have this image in my head, this picture of like, phones ringing and copying and all this stuff that goes on, people running around on the phone, doing this, doing that, filing. It's like there's chaos that happens in a home care business because you've got so many things you got to deal with: customer service, financial, sales, conversions, recruiting, hiring, all of these compliance pieces. Like there's so much that goes into it. Has it ever felt for you that you're just like running around like a chicken with its head cut off? I know it did for me. And there's a reason that happens, right? Because this is especially true for those of you that have players on your team, right? So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus people on your team, and you're trying to get an outcome, you're trying to get a result, but it seems a little bit chaotic. I know that's happened to me before. So we're going to talk about how do you fix that? Like, what are the things that we need to consider? Because the reality is that one of the most overlooked pieces of running a business and getting productivity out of your team is understanding the data. You're like, what do you mean the data? I'm talking about the data-driven results. Do you have people on your team? Are they producing the outcome that you need for that particular role? So if it's a scheduler, what are the things that they need to produce? With the recruiter, what is it that they need to produce? Do you have a salesperson? What do we need them to produce? It's not just referrals. There's other little elements that go into getting that result. There's something we call lead measures and lag measures, and I'll talk about that in another video. But the truth of the matter is that we need data to drive our results. And one of the things we're going to talk a little bit about today is what we call role level KPIs. What does that mean? Well, you have a scheduler, you have a recruiter, you have all these different players on your team, and we need to extrapolate. Everyone has to have a number. Well, even my nurse? Yep, my nurse had a number. And when I say a number, more than one number. When you look at each role, what are the primary outputs that we need? What are the things that we can measure that has the biggest impact on that role? Yeah, I'll acknowledge it. Doing it for a schedule, it's a little bit harder, but you can measure things like overtime. You can measure things like how quickly are they filling the schedule. You can measure things like utilization of your caregivers. So there's different things that you can measure that have a high impact on your profitability, on the results, on the things that you're looking for. So with each role within your company, we want to try to find the key outputs, the things that we can measure that will drive the results for that role. Now, obviously a recruiter is an easy one. They need to have and you may or may not measure this. We need to have so many applications. We need to have so many interviews scheduled. We need to have so many interviews that happen. We need to have so many hires that happen. So these are what we call role level or level 1 specific KPIs. Right? When you have this information and it's shared with you, you can look at it and you can make decisions about how productive are they being. Not only that, but we get to look at the information, and sometimes it's a system issue. Sometimes we don't have the right system to drive the result. You can't just come up with numbers, share it with your team and say, hey, I need you to produce this. You got to give them the process, you got to give them the tools, you got to give them the resources. You can't just leave them out there on an island and expect them to do it. So there's a lot of steps that go into this, but when you do this the right way, you're going to get more and more productivity, because there's a saying, what gets measured gets done. So I've had clients implement this, like people that have signed up for our mastermind programs or have done coaching with me. And what ends up happening is that inevitably, people that have never done it before that actually start to do this, they say, oh my gosh, Greg, like I didn't realize, like look at how much people have already become more productive. I already see it, it's happening. I'm like, yeah, because they know that you're paying attention. And a lot of times as owners, you guys get, and I know this because I've been there, right? I've been there. We get so caught up in doing, trying to survive, that we don't realize that putting these little things in place will help us be more productive, and it'll actually start to give us our sanity back. Like, but I don't have time to set it up.